Over the last 5 years, we've talked about AI, digital AI revolution, speech recognition, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, Google, AMD, Apple, all these big tech giants, Navitas. Everything we've discussed over the past couple of years is the big AI revolution. So in this video, I'm going to show you the top 3 stocks involving robotics and AI that you should be looking at to potentially add to your portfolio. Let's dive right in. Before we get into today's video, if you're wondering how accurate my picks have been over the past year and a half, I will run through them right quick. Robinhood at 15, HIMS at 10, SoundHound at 390, NEO at 375, SoFi at $6. I also called out Microsoft at 400, AMD at 110, Nvidia at 110, Palantir at 15, and the list goes on and on. I even called American Airlines at 950 and Ford at 895. There's been many other stocks along the way that I've called, and most recently I told you guys about PayPal tanking. Everybody was pushing it on YouTube, and I told everyone in my Discord to take XYZ. There is the trade. My students made $10,000, $20,000. I have students that made $40,000 in that trade. I also told them about Meta. You can see Meta's trade right there. I have students that made $50,000 on that trade, and I told everybody not to buy Palantir, that it would go down, and it did. And I told everyone to buy Snowflake. You can see there's my Snowflake trade right there, and I have students that printed. You can see those profits on the screen. When I put out trades in Discord, we make money on them, and I share them on YouTube from time to time with my top picks. So let's dive right into these top 3 stocks right now. Canada's largest natural gas producer, TRMLF, Tourmaline Oil, is currently at $42 with a 1-year price target of $54. Founded and led by Michael Rose with 20 plus years in the business. Why this matters though for AI and robotics is every major tech revolution has been powered by an energy revolution. Railroads relied on coal, cars and assembly lines with oil, and AI is a huge energy demand. Embodied intelligence, robots, autonomous vehicles, factories, robot dogs requires massive real-time data processing, which is only possible with stable, large-scale energy supply. Data centers powering AI robots will strain existing grids, making energy suppliers like Tourmaline crucial. The financials are $4 billion trailing 12-month, $2.4 billion cash flow, and the Q2 results on earnings EPS was a beat by 57%. The net income was 514 million Canadian, which is a 30% gross profit margin. Google level profitability, strong cash generation boosted dividend by 43%, and engaged in aggressive stock buybacks. They're also maintained low debt levels, increasing resilience, valuation, and positioning, and considering an outrageous value play in energy. This stock acts as picks and shovels play for the AI boom. Not directly robots, but it powers infrastructure that is required. As AI shifts from software and ChatGPT on your laptop to embodied AI self-driving autonomous robots in cars and warehouses and automation and dependence on secured energy flow skyrockets, this is going to be a critical stock to own. Now, not all robot companies per se are on the upside, depending on AI adoption and fueling and energy demand. But if AI robotics grows as expected, long-term demand tailwind could significantly lift the valuation of Tourmaline. Short-term volatility is possible though, since oil and gas are cyclical commodities. However, Tourmaline is the energy backbone for the robotics and AI revolution, offering high profitability and strong shareholder returns, critical infrastructure support. And like I said, I teach my students this in Discord, and my picks are in Discord, and they're making consistent profits. So if you want to make the profits you're seeing on the screen, you guys can join my Discord and get started with the link in the information box below, and I look forward to helping you grow your portfolio. Remember, what you put off today for tomorrow, someone else put off yesterday for today. Take action. The time is now. Let me show you what you are doing wrong to help you grow your portfolio and show you how you can do the same thing my students are doing by growing your portfolio consistently and safely. I had students that thought $5,000 a month was impossible, and now they're making $5,000 to $10,000 a week. If you guys want to learn how to do this the right way, I'd love to help you. Link is below. I look forward to helping you grow your portfolio. So here is Tourmaline. We can see that they have a dividend on this stock, which is 3%, just about, which is pretty good. 1 year price target 54, the current stock price 42. So even right now, the upside's 20% in a year, which is double to maybe even triple the annual return of the stock market. And you can see the stock has not tanked or went down at all, even during the market crash last August, which would have been right around here. It only dipped a little bit. And then this March, it dipped a little bit. So it's a fairly safe stock, and it's energy related, which is very strong. And it's going to be very strong in the future, even stronger, a lot stronger, because like I said, as we go into the AI revolution, we get into more data centers and we move away from AI and away from phones and software and move to quantum computing, servers, massive servers, autonomous driving, autonomous computers and robots, and all this bigger sector than we currently are at right now. We are going to be looking at a big demand for energy, and this is what you guys will want to be looking at. So when we look at the financials here on Tourmaline, we can see the cash flow is $273 million, $175 million free cash flow per quarter. Cash from operation activities is good. Their cash flow statements look pretty good. And when we look at their assets, total debt is $849 million. They're now up to $1 billion in debt, but their assets cover quite easily. So not worried about the balance sheet. It looks strong. Trailing 12 month is $4.09 billion. Pre-tax income is very strong, and net income is also quite strong. EBITDA is good. There is absolutely nothing in this balance sheet whatsoever that looks concerning. It's very good, actually. Now, what we're going to do, I'm looking at their price to earnings, which is stellar. 14 is absolutely stellar. It doesn't honestly get much better than that. When we look at market capitalization at 16 billion, we're going to divide the total trailing 12-month revenue, which is 4. Price to earnings is good at 14, but price to sales is 4. And typically price to sales, depending on the sector, is going to fall between 8 to 10, upwards of 30. So the average through the entire market is around 15, which means there's about a 4x potential, maybe 5. But I look at the more realistic outlook, which is about 2 to 3x in the short term, but realistically 4 to 5 is quite easy in the long haul if everything works out. So that means Tourmaline could see a $100 to $150 price target in the next 2 to 3 years, and they could potentially reach 200 to 300 in 5 years plus. So even if they only reach 150, that's triple your money. Even if they reach 100, that's double your money. If you double your money in 2 to 3 years, that is insane. So this is a great opportunity. The next stock to take a look at, number 2, has been talked about many times by myself, and that is AMD, one of the top global semiconductor companies competing directly with NVIDIA in AI and GPU markets. AMD has been trading around 160 to 170 over the past few weeks, even higher, and earnings was pretty good. In fact, the only thing that's really hurt AMD is a lot of the sympathy with NVIDIA. But why this matters for AI and robotics is that chips are the brains of embodied intelligence, and robotics, autonomous vehicles, drones, and even consumer robots all require massive visual data processing. NVIDIA has dominated this space. However, AMD has caught up pretty fast. And I told you guys, I give out trade alerts on YouTube and my Discord at 110 back in February. We printed the new MI355 chips are now on par with NVIDIA's Blackwell GPUs and focused on visual perception and real-time processing, which is critical for robots or robotics. Potential to form a duopoly is also possible with NVIDIA AI chips, similar to the Intel and AMD duopoly in the 1990s, where NVIDIA really wasn't a big player. The recent financial results is they beat earnings by 3.65%. Revenue growth is 32% year over year. Strong operating income gains and indicating efficiency with strong demand for growth. Free cash flow is positive, not a speculative play, but a profitable scaling business. Unlike NVIDIA, AMD has been somewhat overlooked during the AI mania over the past few years, giving it a catch-up reevaluation potential. AMD chips are high performing and competitive with NVIDIA, often cheaper, creating space in mid-market robotics, drones, and autonomous systems. They're well positioned to supply chips for Tesla, other autonomous vehicles, the warehouse robots, and robotic dogs as well. Home companion robots already retailing at $8,000 to $16,000. The upside here is if robotics expands into mainstream factories, logistics, consumer markets, AMD could see massive demand growth, especially from companies priced out of NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is much more expensive. NVIDIA still holds the lead, though, in R&D and software ecosystems with CUDA partnerships, and AMD must continue innovating to stay competitive. However, the opportunity here is a recent 10% stock pullback, which creates an attractive entry for investors investors for betting on robotics and AI demand growth at a cheaper price. Let's take a look at AMD's chart and let's go over some things with AMD. Looking at AMD, you can see they have had a massive run. And you can see this blocked out area right here is when the markets went down back in March. But if we stop right before the crash in February, the price was around 114, 108. And if we take out the whole window of the crash right here, this whole area, and where the markets recovered on the 12th, AMD was at 110 and right before was at 110. So the bottom, if the market hadn't went down, we hadn't had tariff talks, AMD would have bottomed out around 110. And I told everyone to buy it at 112 and 110, so pretty close to the bottom. And I had some people, quite a few comments on YouTube and emailing me telling me that AMD was bad. A lot of people questioned that, just like they did in my Neo trade when I bought Neo for $3.75, $3.50 just about 3-4 months ago. Well, I'm up like 60 grand on Neo and I made like 50, 60 grand on AMD. So this is a good trade. AMD was a great trade that I put out a few months ago. And I told everyone to grab it at 110, 115, 120, and it ran to 186. So for every 100 shares, if you had a bot when I told you guys to, you would have made 7 grand on every 100 shares. So if you bought 1,000 shares, you'd have made $70,000. If you had a bought $30,000, $40,000 with leap options, you would have doubled your money, maybe more. I have students that made 1,300% on that trade. So like I've been saying, if you are having trouble understanding what I'm doing here and why I called out AMD or how I was able to do that, I do it consistently. We just did Snowflake 2 days ago. Students were printing 30, 40%, made tens of thousands of dollars. We entered Snowflake at 190 and exited 233, 235. I have students that made a lot of money and other students that made very good money. Everybody made money for the most part. Everybody in my Discord that took Snowflake printed, including myself. So if you want to grow your account and you want to understand what it is I'm doing right now and how I'm able to make these picks, and you want more access to dark pool trades and more accurate trades consistently in the Discord, I am constantly putting out dark pool trades just like I did on Snowflake, just like I did on XYZ. When everyone was betting on PayPal, I was right on XYZ. And just like AMD, we have multiple trades like this every week, sometimes a day, depending on dark pool data. So if you want access to these trades, my coaching, 2 coaching calls a week, and you want to learn how to do this the right way, the link to join my Discord is below. I look forward to helping you on your financial journey. And I'm driven every single day to help people just like you grow your portfolio. And I can help you grow consistently and safely. I look forward to seeing you real soon in the Discord. So right here, we can see AMD's bottom is looking to be 160, but it could likely pull back to 145, 150. I would be selling put options around 155, maybe 157.50 going out a week or two. And if you can get in anywhere between 140 and 150 for the long haul, it would be good. But overall, the sector is going to pull back a little bit because of this coming week. We have data coming out, interest rate cuts, and then possibility in the middle of September. We also have PMI services and manufacturing data this coming week. So we got to be a little cautious about this particular moment. But in the next couple of weeks, I would be looking at advanced micro devices, AMD, and looking to possibly enter, whether it be leap options a year or two out, or shares, which I prefer, or selling put options. But this is a very strong stock. 2 to 3 years from now, there's almost no way you'd be losing money on this. This is a very strong play. And if you pair that with my number 3 pick, Tourmaline, then you have the energy and the AI, which is why they're both in this video. The number 1 pick here to potentially add to your portfolio is ISRG, Intuitive Surgical. The current price right now is $472, but the 1-year price target is $600 plus 20% in the potential gain for the next year alone. A leader in robotic assisted surgery, best known for its Da Vinci surgical systems. ISRG has a market cap of $150 billion plus. And unlike industrial robotics like factories and aerospace, Intuitive Surgical brings robotics into healthcare. Over 8,000 Da Vinci systems installed globally, used in procedures like urology, gene oncology, cardiology, and general surgery. Razor and blades model here for ISRG, which is hospitals buy systems at $1.5 million each, but reoccurring revenue comes from maintenance and disposable surgical instruments. Their financial growth has been consistently high and single to double digits annually. High margins are due to consumables and reoccurring sales, and they have a very low debt and are financially resilient. Huge sector growth driver for ISRG, which is aging populations and more surgeries. Healthcare robotics has less cyclical exposure than industrial robotics or semiconductors. And the expansion into new robotic systems, ion endoluminal systems for lung biopsies, is also huge. High valuation makes it a premium stock. And depending on the regulatory approvals and hospital budgets, this could be huge. However, there is competition rising in the Medtronic and Johnson & Johnson entering the robotic surgery space, but ISRG stands among them as being the best value play with the most growth currently. Looking at ISRG, you can see the stock is down, making it a much better time to buy. You wouldn't want to buy at the top. We can see it's all the way down here at the support levels of 460 to 470. There could be a dip into the 410 to 420 range. It's highly unlikely because that goes back over a year, but potentially right around here would be the near bottom. But long term, they have a $600 price target. You see right here, pushing $600. They've beat earnings consistently. If we look at their price to earnings, it's a little bit on the high side, but 169 billion market cap. So we take their 169 billion market cap and divide it by trailing 12-month revenue of 10 billion, giving a price to sales of 16, which is a little on the higher side, but there's a lot of room to grow here. We look at trailing 12-month, 9 billion, should be a little higher, but pre-tax income is still positive, almost $1 billion a quarter in profits. Net income is over $500 million per quarter. Trailing 12-month pushing 3 billion. EBITDA, same thing, very strong. Look at the balance sheet. It's also very strong with no debt. Net debt, negative 5 billion plus, which actually negative 5.33 billion. But remember, anytime you have a negative net number, it doesn't exist. So negative net debt means there is no debt, means you're sitting on cash. They're sitting on 5.33 billion in cash, and they have enough assets to cover all liabilities, giving them a total equity in the positive of almost 18 billion. Very strong balance sheet. Cash flow equally as strong, 2 billion trailing 12 month in free cash flow, 560 million free cash flow per quarter, and 715 in the cash from operation activities. You can see the growth potential getting stronger and stronger. They flipped at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, showing you a divergent in the stock and in the sector, meaning this is the divergence right here from losing in certain aspects or having issues in certain parts of the business to completely going into the positive and break even. This shows a divergent point in the stock. Very strong right now. I would say anywhere between 400 and 450 is solid. Even at 472 is a good buy. I'm looking to enter. If the stock dips a little bit more, I'll be buying some now. If it dips to 440, 450, then you'd want a dollar cost average, as this is a very long-term play. Would not surprise me if this breaks 500 by the end of the year, beginning of spring. This isn't going to necessarily be one of these plays that you get into and it's only a month or two long. This is a long-term hold, but a big investment for the coming 3 to 5 years. This could really take portfolios significantly up. And these 3 stocks I picked for you are very strong based on the data I have researched, and they look very promising. But again, there's always risks in the stock market, so remember to follow my rules. I teach these in Discord, my 3310 rule and my AVP, my D stochastics RSI, and my DFib. These are all the tools that I teach and that help you to gauge a stock. The AVP on this stock particularly is between 430 and 450. We're approaching that now, and that is going to give it an even stronger buy rating. So if you guys are looking to get in, that would be even stronger, but right now is still very strong. If you guys don't understand what I'm doing here, or you don't quite understand or grasp trading and investing, maybe don't understand what my DFib, stochastics, RSI, and my AVP, which everybody loves and is more accurate than Bollinger Bands and goes off of hedge fund and dark pool data that I learned. And I've taken that and used it in my system to help my students grow their portfolios. If you don't know what any of this means and you want to learn, I would love to help you. The link to join Discord is below. Don't put it off, fam. If you want to live the life that you deserve, I have students that are making money on airplanes in the coaching calls, flying all over the world. And I have other students that live on boats in the Caribbean and in the Florida Keys that just travel around and working on their boats, working on their airplanes, doing what they love, living the life pretty much similar to what I'm doing what I love doing. If you want to do this, I would love to help you. Let me show you what you're doing wrong. Don't just take my word for it. Let's take a listen to what my student Mike had to say. So we are here with Mike, and Mike has actually been in my Discord since virtually day one. So I'd like to introduce Mike. Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Corey. My name is Mike. I'm 73 years old, and I joined the Discord to learn strategies to earn passive income. I started out with 25,000 and it's now 84,000. Can't believe it.
That is awesome. That's like a
Yeah.
3x return in 1 year. That's a lot.
I love it. I
That
can't
is
wait to get up in the morning.
awesome. That is the goal. I'm very, very happy to hear it.
The biggest benefit for me was when we had the 2 coaching calls a week, you can interact with yourself in the coaching calls and you tell us what's going on with the current events. I just eat that stuff up because I do a lot of reading. Coaching calls bring you up to date and put you in the moment so you don't feel like you're missing everything. I would tell them that once they go into the training modules and learn all the strategies, and we post trades in the Discord, and if you take the trades and you're hitting it over 80% success rate, how can you go wrong? It's a fun ride. And boot camp's a blast. They'll have fun with the boot camp. You really learn a lot. You're able to really interact one-on-one with you. And well, who
That
says
is,
you can't teach an old dog new tricks? The community in the Discord pulls up other members in the community, and you can interact in general chat. And then when you have specific questions, you can go to the Ask Corey section. It's all there for you. You just have to do it. You're happy. Get a bunch of small wins, you get happier and happier. You'll love it.
so you heard my student Mike had to say, if you want this to be your success story, don't hesitate. Don't put it off. Take action now. Link to get started is below. If you want to make the profits you're seeing on the screen, I would love to help you achieve the same results, and you will as long as you are committed to learning and put in the effort and get started below. And I'll see you on the next video or upload. Take care of yourselves. One love, fam.